This is Modern Mindset, the show where we discuss the psychology and emotion of finance and business. I'm your host, Adam Cox, and joining me today is an author of a new book called The Path to Financial Peace. Joining us is Dean Williams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Adam.
You're more than welcome. And before we go into the detail of your book and kind of your motives behind it, give us a bit of an intro of who you are and what you're really known for.
Okay, so my name is Dean Williams, aka the Love Business Consultant, and it's been a great journey in my life so far. So I started working in the Royal Bank of Scotland in 2006, and it was there where I really found and learned the art of creating, sustaining, and growing my income. And it's been a wonderful journey from there to now. Helping business owners learn how to really manage their finances. But my first love was really helping other people just like myself really grow an income in regards to what they were earning. So something which I learned from a book called Think and Grow Rich, the Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. And he said that it's not what you earn that truly matters, it's what you earn, keep and grow. And there's some great things, which I have learned, especially within my time from working in a bank and doing my research after, in regards to how money really works. And money is a fantastic tool if you know how to use it properly.
Absolutely. And, I think, the version of Think and Grow Rich that I read, Napoleon Hill, I think a lot, people don't realize how much of money really relates to your beliefs, your values, the psychology, the associations that you have with money. Money itself is just paper, it's just coins, but it's kind of like how you think about it either draws it towards you, allows it to grow, or makes it, a scarce resource. So tell us about your motivations for this particular book then.
Yeah, so The Path to Financial Peace is my first book, and when I was actually working in the bank and this is where I transitioned myself from being a chef to working in the bank. So I got a massive pay rise, and I was loving it because I thought I was P. Diddy. I was going out there, I was buying stuff, I was going into the shops, not even looking at the price tags, just paying for stuff. This is probably why people don't like us in the bank. Well, I can't say us, I don't work for the bank no more, but yeah. I said to myself, okay, cool. Like I was gonna live life. I had a decent wage coming in, and I was just gonna live. Whatever I want, I was gonna have it. So one day, one of my friends, she was working in the bank, she was a customer advisor, and she said to me, look, I went through your accounts, okay, and you have no money in your no savings in your account. And in my head, I said, I don't care. I'm earning a decent wage. She goes, no, you need to have some money there. So she sat me down. She did a customer service review on me, and when the time she finished, I was like, oh my God, I've been wasting, I think it was £5,000 a year. And she goes, if you just do these simple things, I promise you in the next 12 months, you will have at least £8,000 sitting in your account. So I thought, okay, cool. So she showed me how I could make some simple adjustments to my finances and to my spending. And within 8 months, I had over £10,000 in my account. And this was literally just by implementing these basic stuff, these basic principles that I also have in my book, that really allowed me to really say to myself, hey, you know what? Anyone can truly make their money work for them if they just do the basic principles.
And I guess part of the basic principles is really taking responsibility. I mean, how important do you feel taking responsibility for your finances and knowing what comes in, what goes out really is to kind of building wealth?
It's that the foundation. Without you taking responsibility of your money, and for you to be accountable of where your money is actually going, you're never going to see it. You're always going to be wanting more, but you have more than enough. Most people have more than enough right now within what comes into them. But it's literally just because, let's just go back a second. We're not really told in school how to deal with money. We're told how to add up. We're told how to do these different type of things, but we're not really told how to manage our day-to-day life. And money is a fundamental lifeblood, especially in the Western world, for us to learn what we need to be doing with our lives. So if we're not taught how to budget, if we're not taught how to prioritize, look at our receipts at the end of the month, it ain't gonna dawn upon us one day, say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna be great with my money. It ain't going to work. So taking responsibility of our money is a choice that we all have to make in regards to literally growing our wealth. And the first thing that I always say to people is take a step back, basic stuff. Just write down every single day for 30 days what you're spending your money on. And then we can look back on it, and then you can see where your money is actually going.
And, I think when people see, let's say, high profile people that are rich, okay, so that might be sports professionals, that might be actors, and there's case after case of people that are earning the most amount of money in the world that end up bankrupt. So that could be Hollywood actors, that could be, if we think of, let's say, Mike Tyson, for example, earning like millions and millions per fight, and then at the end of it, had very little. What would you say is the key difference? Because on the surface, people can look rich.
Yeah.
What's the difference, would you say, between being wealthy and being rich?
Okay, so being wealthy for me is somebody who has their money and they make it grow. So they invest it, they put it in other places. They know, okay, they're not thinking about the now. They're thinking about 20, 50 years from now, that they're leaving something for the next generation. That's a wealthy mindset, where you're always looking to grow what you have. You're looking to sustain and grow what it is that you have. Someone who's just rich is someone who just has money, and they will go out there and they will party, they will live hard. And one of the greatest things, if you even look, if you look at some of the millionaires who have won the lottery, people, okay, who have no understanding, who may have never had any financial training or understanding, they've won the lottery, and within 6 months to a year, all of it's gone. Is it because, okay, that they're stupid and they don't know what to do with money? No. It's like, if you haven't been trained, or if you haven't been shown how to really grow your money, then, or to sustain it, or to invest it properly, then it's going to wither. All you're going to start doing now is like, you never had this before. You just want to spend it. You just want to live life. You're going to help as many people as possible. And by the time you finish, you realize there's nothing left. So wealth is all to do with mindset. Wealth is to understand, hey, look, I know money is a tool for me to be using. I need to invest it and grow it. Being rich is just another mindset of, hey, look, I've got a lot of money. I'm going to spend it.
And just on that kind of point of wealth creation versus, being rich, there was, because it's important about how you learn those things, because I completely agree with your point that you're not taught this stuff in school.
No.
And one of the first personal finance books that I read probably was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And he had this game that he was selling, board game, Cash Flow 101, I think it was called. And I just kind of played that and played it. And then it really dawned on me that actually the game is about buying assets that then put money into your pocket. That's really the game. And whether you've got a high income or not doesn't really determine how well you play that game. It's more about, knowing, the art of acquiring assets that then create cash flow, which, up until that point, I kind of knew it in theory, but it's a skill set that you have to do. It's not something you can just know. So I mean, I think we're absolutely in agreement here that the psychology that you have about money is crucial, isn't it?
100%.
And sorry, with this kind of mentality of wealth and riches, does it work the other way around as well? Is there a difference between, let's say, being broke and being poor?
Yeah, again, it's all the great thing about I think the reason why I love finance is just because we put this magical spell on it, as if, okay, it's this esoteric kind of thing where only the rich and the fabulous people are allowed to have it. But most of us don't know, okay, well, most of us are actually rich in regards to where we want to be. So most of us, right now, it's a discussion I've been having with a lot of people, that a lot of people, I wish I was the 1%ers of the world. I wish I was out there living life. But if you look at the world statistics, okay, to be in the top 1% earners in the world, all you've got to be earning is $32,000 a year. So that's not a high statistic. Now, bring it back to your question, being poor, being broke. Again, it's just a mindset. Like, we want to be something, and it takes time to get there. So being broke, and how I've described it, being broke is a temporary position. And if you could say, look, like, let's be honest with yourself. Right now, I may not have the finances that I want right now. Right now, I might not have the savings that I like, but I am working towards making my situation better. Being poor is someone who's literally resigned themselves of being in that particular spot and saying, look, I can't do it any better. This is it. This is my life. I'm always going to be like this. So it could be someone, okay, who's saying, I will never get a job. I'm going to be signing on for the rest of my life. This is it. I have no aspirations, no dreams. Being broke, okay, could be a single mother at home saying, look, I don't have the money right now, but I'm going to be studying. I'm going to be working hard. So therefore, I can get a degree or get a diploma. So therefore, I can start earning more money. That's all to do with mindset.
Totally, and it's a really important distinction, because I remember in my early 20s, just coming out of university, I wrote down all my assets, and I had literally like a couple of £100 in the bank account, and there was nothing, But for me, I saw that as just kind of a temporary reflection of what my situation was. Did I feel like I was poor? Absolutely not. I had health, I had education, I had big goals. Did I feel poor? Not at all. But was I broke? Absolutely. Yeah. Because the thing is, for people that haven't created wealth, it doesn't seem possible. And a lot of people, I think, are driven by anxiety and fear. So I remember when I was 23 years old, I set up my business. And a lot of people were reading out statistics about failure rates for business. They had good intent. They didn't want to see me get hurt or kind of have my ego bruised. But actually, they were talking from their perception, their experience, rather than, if I had 5 business owners around me, they're going to say, yeah, but find a niche and do this. And, they're going to have different reflection. First couple of properties I bought, again, the feedback was, all right, but if you can't pay the mortgage, you're going to get it repossessed. They're trying to help, but it's not necessarily
the right help.
Yeah, it has good intent, but it can be very limiting if you kind of take advice or kind of insight from people that haven't actually achieved what you're looking to achieve. Is it as simple as changing? What if these people around you are your best friends, your family? You can't really change them, can you?
Yes, you can. Of course you can. I did it. Many people do it, and it's not like you forsake them and you just cut them off from your life. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm talking about is know that the greatest resource anyone has. Because remember, money is just a currency of exchange of perceived value. So that's all it is. But the greatest currency that we truly have is time. Time is our greatest currency that we have. Like one of the greatest motivations that I know out there, E.T., Eric Thomas, he said, and I love it so much. He goes, I'd rather give my children 1,000 books than give them a house, because the house could be taken away, but the knowledge that you have will never ever be taken away from you. So invest your time wisely. See, when you're with the right people, you're investing time, there's going to be a return on your investment in regards to spending your time with quality individuals. But when you're with other people, okay, where they're not supporting you in regards to your dreams, you're spending time. And okay, when you spend something, you're not going to get anything back. So just know, if you're going to do anything, just know where you're going to just allocate your time appropriately to the right places, and you'll start literally start cutting out people automatically. It's not because you're being bad or anything like that. It's because you want better for yourself. And these people are really for you. They'll come with you along the journey, or you just be a beacon to them to show them, okay, you know what? Oh my God, you can do better because you did better. They will start believing that they can do better, and they will raise up their gains and standards to where you are. If not, it just means, okay, at that present time in your life journey, you just have to make a different change.
Yeah, and I would definitely echo from my own experience what you're saying there, because the very people that were telling me how risky it was to run a business, or how risky it is to get into buy-to-let property, were then asking my advice about how to do it later. Because then the risk wasn't there anymore. They'd seen the results come from actually kind of taking an element of risk, but it's a risk that's easier to take if you've seen someone actually achieve the results, 100%. Which is why obviously having a mentor is so important. I think people can fall into the habit though of living their life, spending money, spending bills, all that kind of stuff, and they feel like there is nothing left for them to actually start investing, saving, buying assets. How do you get out of that loop?
Okay, there's two good ways of actually doing that. The first way is what I had to do, is sit down with you can go to your bank and sit down with a customer advisor, and they can show you how your monthly spending is done, and it's free. You can literally go to your bank and ask for a customer service review, and they will have to sit down with you and support you in regards to your finances. Or you can go to an independent financial advisor, but I believe you have to pay money for them. But again, very worthwhile, because they can give you the best rates across the different markets.
But there is dashboards as well, isn't there, where they can kind of like give you a bit of insight in terms of what you're spending on and things.
100%, and they'll give you things, and there's great tools that they'll give you after to monitor your spending. But if you cannot, if you're ready, you can say, I'm kind of doing that, but I need something else. One of my best tools that I've ever done for myself is taking out 10% out of my wages. And how I literally did that was from the gross, so before I paid a tax man or paid any bills or whatever, I paid myself first. Like, I worked hard for that, so I'm going to pay myself again, and everything, then that's for me. And what I did, I put that into an ISA, and so I think it's actually called a NISA now. So it's a new instant savings account. So that for me was one of the best things I ever did for myself. And depending where you want to go, there's stocks and shares, ISAs and stuff like that. But again, go and seek professional advice in regards to where you can invest your money. But I definitely opened an ISA account and put my money in there, and I just left it in there. One of the things that I'm doing now, this is just my personal thing, is I'm putting my money into a private pension for myself, because I'm realizing to myself that no one's going to look after me when I'm older. So I might as well look after so the way I'm looking at it is, I'm going to look after the old me while I'm young. Nice. So I'm putting away money, so when I'm older, 65 years old, I have the choice to retire or not. And that for me is one of the best things that I could ever do, because sometimes when times are hard and you have your savings accounts there and you're thinking, okay, you know what, I shouldn't be touching it, you do touch it. But I know once it's in a pension, I can't touch it. Yeah. It's there for me when I'm older. So it's something definitely to go out there and seek that professional advice on.
And I think one of the things that blew my mind when I first learned this was about the power of compounding.
Yeah.
Because I had this kind of example, and at the time I was like 22, 23, and I was getting advice. Adam, you need a pension. And I said, what do I need a pension for? I'm in my early 20s. And I found this article, I think it was on Motley Fool, and it said, right, if you put, let's say, £100, £200 a month in a pension every month from the age of 20 to 30, if someone starts doing that at the age of 30, they would have to put in the same amount every month for the rest of their life and still never catch up with what you only put in for 10 years. And that math didn't make sense. It was kind of like, how is this possible? And then you learn about compounding, that it's kind of like it's growth on growth, it's interest on interest, and that kind of stuff. Do you think most people really get the power of compounding?
I don't think people do. And again, this comes to, it could be complacency, it could be just not knowing what you don't know what you don't know. But with compound interest, this is why when I'm going to schools, I'm part of an organisation called My Bank, and I give financial talks to young people. And this is one of the things I say: open up an ISA account, get yourself a pension. You're 18 years old. I promise you, 50 years from now, that person will love you forever. And even if it's just £5 a week or a month that you put in, just start putting something away, because it is free money. It's just like you're getting money on the capital plus the interest. So it's like something. You're being rewarded for great behavior. And the old you, and I keep saying, because pension for me, I never really understand the power of a pension until recently, since I've really been doing this money talk for young people now. I'm looking at the figures and I'm thinking, wow, but if I hid the money underneath the bed or put it into a pension, it's that I get over £75,000 more, but just by putting it into a pension, doing the same amount of money, but I'll be saving underneath my bed. And it's just looking at that kind of contrast. It just gave me that realization that, one, I need to be able to show other people this, and two, for me, it's just like I need to make sure that I am doing this myself in a much higher ratio that I'm doing now, because my goodness, the older me is gonna love me.
No, absolutely, and I think it's people get complacent. They think the money they're earning now is always going to be there, but people are now forced to work, into their 70s, into their 80s, because what they learn too late is the state pension is going to do nothing for them.
Absolutely nothing.
There's nothing there. So if you don't have something in place, and that doesn't need to be a pension, it can be a property, it can be something, but if you don't have something there to give you an income, then you're going to be, in trouble. In your book, you talk about multiple streams of income, which I was a really important thing, which for me I learned and why I wanted to have property. I wanted to have money coming in without me working. I had this dream of, get to the age of 40, and not need to work, a day again if I didn't have to. Not that I wouldn't, but if I didn't have to. How important is having more than one source of income, and what typically are the best kind of incomes for people to kind of generate in terms of these streams?
Yeah, so multiple streams of income. This is, again, a concept which has been bouncing around for many, many, many years. But you're going to need this just in case something else happens. So we know the whole 9-to-5 thing is dead. Your job is no longer secure. Actually, I was reading today that over 500,000 businesses in the UK today, are struggling and about to go bankrupt. And I was thinking, how is that even possible? But it is what it is today, that businesses are not doing as well as they're supposed to because of the current climate. Okay, now saying all that, what does it mean to you in regards to having multiple income? I will still say have a business. That to me is still having one of the best ways for you to have a secondary income. And that type of business is something which you're passionate about, but you people are willing to pay for it. You're solving a problem, you're solving an issue that a group of people are willing to pay for. So really find something that you can actually be passionate about, but you're willing to learn and educate yourself in, and then niche yourself within that area and just become the best within that field. Don't look to master everything, just that particular area, and you will learn how to make extra income. The next thing I would definitely say is what you're doing, the property game. But with that one,
they've changed the rules. It's not as good as it used to be.
That's the thing, but a house is still a good buy, and there's still great things you can actually do. But as the rules has changed dramatically just in the last 5 years, it's very important for you to really you have to educate yourself first before you even jump into it. It's very important. But here's the thing, which I say to people, don't do this by yourself. Find at least one or two other people, so there's 3 of you taking the risk on this thing and not just you. Because too many times we go out there and thinking, oh yeah, I need to do this by myself, and it's that kind of extra strain and pressure and stress that you bring upon yourself, but which brings people down. And that's, for me personally, is one of the biggest tips I can give anyone. Find people who are willing to invest at the same way that you are. So number one, start your business if you have a passion to do so, but make sure that there's people to buy your products and services. 2, go into a house, look to buy property. The third one is one which I do like, but it's something you need to put a lot of work in this in the early stages. Is to position yourself as an expert in a particular area, and to then get a book out there or get a blog or whatever it is that you do to really go out there and position yourself as that particular expert within that area. But it's going to take, say, 2 to 3 years for you really to start gaining traction. So this one's going to take a little bit more time than as much. Also, the same thing, it's like also creating a business. A business is going to take time as well. But position yourself in an expert in a particular field is another good way, because this is where you can get speaking events. This is where you can sell your books. This is where you can create merchandise for yourself, which is unique to you. So that's another great way you can actually make additional stream of income. And right now, if you look on YouTube, Facebook, it's more easier to get people's attention, but you need to be able to have it and sustain it.
I think that's a really, really useful insight there. And if someone's been inspired, where can they get the book, and where can they find out more information about you?
Yeah, so if you have been inspired, thank you and well done. For me, for the book itself, The Path to Financial Peace, is on Amazon right now. You can go on there, you can purchase the book, The Path to Financial Peace, on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Nobles. It's on most of the online platforms.
Excellent. And if we want to find out about your speaking events or workshops and things, where can we find out more information?
Yes, if you go to www.exclusivevisions.co.uk, that's www.exclusivevisions.co.uk. You can actually go in there, see what we're doing from there, or you can literally just come to me straight on LinkedIn. So if you look for Dean Williams on LinkedIn, I'm one of the first pretty black guys that pop up on there. So you can actually do it right there.
Sold. Right, done. Dean, you've been a great guest.
Thank you.
And
pleasure being here.
No, really appreciate that. And to my audience at home, thanks for joining me on Modern Mindset. I've been your host, Adam Cox. Join me again next week for more.